live intro so y'all can have that experience of coming in as you would in a real setting. So Dr. Steve Ventola, and the feedback that you're wanting in particular is?
Actually, this is going to be possibly repurposed as an intro for my online course. So I thought about posting it on my website to help advertise an online course I'll be giving soon.
Perfect.
Yes.
Do you yearn to provide more for your world? Does stress and fear get in the way? Would you like to be able to master stress and get on with the important work you want to do in the world? If so, you're in the right room, because today's speaker is a certified HeartMath practitioner, wellness chiropractor, and a nature lover. Please welcome stress expert, author of Healing Verses of the Psalms, and die-hard Andy Griffith fan, Dr. Steve Ventola.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today I want to introduce my online course I'll be beginning in November. And I want to introduce it in a way that makes you realize that there's something about mastering stress that has to do with all of us. And I've entitled my course, Mastering Your Stress with HeartMath, Nutrition, and More. If you find you're interested after I speak a little bit more about it, you can go to this link, tiny.cc, Dr. Steve Ventola, and sign up for my class. Basically, as a professional, as a wellness chiropractor for over 30 years now, I've realized that in working with hundreds of people, that stress is always involved in any health condition a person may have. Personally speaking, I endured 10 years of inflammatory bowel disease and having colon cancer. And during that time, I realized I wasn't addressing the stress I needed to address. Basically because I didn't know how to address that stress. So what was going on is I was pushing it down, feeling ashamed for it, and trying to hide it. And guess what happened? My body suffered because of that. So I want to illustrate that a little bit more how that works. We have our thoughts, and we have our emotions. And we have our body. I think you may have heard the statement, where attention goes, energy flows. When we have a problem with our body and our attention is focused on that, it only makes it worse. Our thoughts and our emotions need a different orientation. That orientation needs to come from our heart. The positive nature that comes through our heart, literally and figuratively. What we know about our heart is that when there's a right heart rate variability, we call it coherent heart rhythms, physiologically speaking, that actually allows our emotions to come to rest, and our thoughts to clarify, and our bodies to be invigorated. Part of the class we'll be looking at, the bulk of the class, the course, we'll be looking at how to bring our heart rhythms into that coherence. So our minds could be freed up, our emotions could be more settled, and our bodies can begin to heal or actually feel healthier. So we'll be focusing on what's called HeartMath. In addition, we'll be looking at nutrition, the nutrition aspects here with the body. Now, if we know if our body is properly nourished, that it will give us more resilience when stress comes along. So we look at how blood sugar, we can keep our blood sugar balanced. We'll look at nutrients to see how we can set a good physiological foundation. We'll look at nutrients and support specifically for stress factors. So we'll be looking at HeartMath, nutrition, and more. Now the more part has to do with what comes through ourselves. Now you think about our health is not just for ourselves. If we focus on HeartMath and nutrition, it's going to help ourselves, but ultimately our health is for a function, that we provide something for our worlds. And I'll use the abbreviations S for spirit. We provide our spirit into the world. We provide the mental awareness that we have to share with others, maybe provide an educational class. We provide something physically in terms of helping, say, someone, a friend of yours may need you to help them move, and you lend a hand physically. We help socially, provide an influence into the world, a social influence that's uplifting, that's health invigorating, and we provide financially for endeavors, projects that we love to see facilitated here on the face of the earth. So my course is looking to see how we can master your stress with heart math, nutrition, and more in order for you to find ultimately your greater fulfillment. The class will take place on Thursday evenings beginning November 9th. We'll plan for an hour. There'll be 5 sessions focusing on these elements, and the class will look to surround the holidays in addition, so to prepare you for the stress factors that are around the holidays. So we'll meet on the first couple of Thursdays before Thanksgiving, we'll skip Thanksgiving, and we'll end a good time before Christmas, but we'll set the stage for you to help master your stress during that time, but also for the time after that time. So if you are interested in what I said today, go to this link, tiny.cc, Dr. Steve Ventola, and sign up for the class. And right now I just have 6 openings left to have for the class, so if you are interested, jump on that. It's first come, first serve. Thank you very much.
So Mike, what thoughts do you have? And do you maybe want to come up here where everybody can see you so that we can see Steve at the same time?
I'm a rather shy guy. I'd like to hide back.
Right.
Yeah, right, thanks.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.
Thank you.
I think that we all know people who are dealing with stress. And I think it's safe to say that you're dealing with a really important subject. One of the things that I think you did exceptionally well is you established yourself as someone who takes a holistic approach in all the different things that he has talked about in addressing. And I'm, so you have immediate credibility in whatever you're talking about. I also like the fact that you were open to tell us that you have dealt with stress, okay? So, those are the things that, and I think you have a very powerful message, and this class is going to be important for you, for people to see. Now, here's the challenge that we have, and now I'm wearing the marketing hat, and I'm going to warn you that I'm going to be a little more critical.
Sure.
Because I want to help you. Your objective here is to solve someone and to get them engaged. And I want to challenge you on 2 things. One, are people who are dealing with stress recognizing that I have stress and I need help? And I'm not so sure they are. I'm not so sure, you've got to, I want to challenge you, because you know the subject better than I, that you've got to softly walk them into the fact that, and help them realize that they aren't dealing with stress very effectively. The second thing is that I was a little overwhelmed. You gave me the whole course in 3 minutes. Maybe almost too much information, but my guess is you could start with a great story and bring people in and really walk them on a journey with you for, have you ever felt this way or known someone who felt this way? They got this diagnosis from the doctor, and here's the things that started happening to them. And I bet you'd have people in the audience say, he's talking about me. And I don't think you made that, you didn't bring me in, and you gave me all the theory, which maybe borderline on too much information, but it did a wonderful job of, developing your abilities to talk knowledgeably about this and what the items are. And so that's what I would look for. I would look for a story. Maybe the story would not start off with inflammatory bowel disease. Maybe there's something that's a little more comfortable, okay? And I would think very much about that, just, because you want to bring people in. Also, that's what you want to start with, okay? You started with, if you want to take my course, here's the website. Put all that stuff at the back. And some of the details about Thanksgiving and whatever, they can find that on the internet. You have one objective, and that is for someone, literally one objective, and that is for someone to say, gosh, I am feeling those kinds of things. I want to go learn more. I want to go to his website. I want to find out more about the class. And that's where you want to go.
Great.
Okay? I hope that was helpful.
That was great.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah.
I agree, that was great, with Mike. Steve, you are such an expert on this, and I know your passion, and it shows, and how easily the information started flowing there. I was craving stories from you. Specifically, like you said, more resilience. I want to give you more resilience when stressed, teach more resilience. So, I wanted to know what was in that for me. Tell me a story of someone that dealt with stress and how much resilience helped them. So I think it's very much like Mike said there. So, and then your board, whether it's a PowerPoint or even I see for you that would be pretty cool because the information is great, is like one of those hand-drawn cartoons. Have you ever seen people that as you're talking, someone else is drawing it?
There's a platform called Doodly. I
You
think.
see it, yeah.
There's a
I don't know.
guy connected to NSA, Ross Boone, who is amazing at doing that and not overpriced either.
Couldn't you see that? from
Yeah,
him?
I could totally
Yeah.
see that. I
That's a
love
great
that.
idea.
Yeah.
So I think that would raise a level for you in the expert that you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy.
I love that idea because I was struggling a little bit with the visual as well.
Yeah.
And I always default back to PowerPoint, but that's because that's what I live, right? I think what you just described is fabulous, and it doesn't make you have to focus on a skill set that's you're not going to pay off for you in other ways. I thought the mix of the boards on the mix of the words on the board started to get a little. I was trying to follow the dots, and I wasn't paying attention to your story. So your idea is that this is going to be a video, correct? Is that the deal?
That was the idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking from a marketing standpoint, maybe there are multiple videos. And I agree with Mike's comment about, the story is what sells. And I know it becomes very, we want to show them what they're going to get. But what they really want is they want to walk that same journey with you. And I'm not offended by the IBS start because, maybe that's enough to shock somebody that's going through something really tough health-wise into kind of taking a stand that isn't prescription drugs, right? So I want to hear more about your story. So I even wrote down, what if you started off with, it's January 2007, and here I am. I've just missed baseball game, a night out with friends. I've been dealing with this pain and this issue. And something has got to stop, right? So I got mad, I got focused, and I fixed things, right? So that emotion I know is in there, and so telling that story I think would really connect with the audience.
Just a little note, like the past 3 talks, I've told a story.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to bore you with another story.
Okay, got
That's
it.
why I didn't tell
Okay.
the story to begin with.
For us.
Laura.
Got it. Yeah. Yep. And they build on each other. So the other thing is, go ahead and I would customize that URL. so that you don't have the tiny.cc.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so you can, it's not too difficult to do. You
There's
have your own website. We can talk about that
Yeah.
offline, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely make that something custom.
Okay.
So, I think a lot of people with stress have bowel concerns, and it's a very common association. So I think that anybody who's dealing with chronic stress and hasn't dealt with it well and has sublimated it, internalized it, they're gonna really identify with your IBS. Either they got a family member who's got it because, such as my family, my dad, because, that person didn't have a whole lot of skills to deal with stress. Hence, I don't have a lot of skills to deal with stress. You pass that down.
Yeah.
Thank goodness not the IBS, but I do have bowel concerns.
Yeah.
So I don't find an issue with sharing that particular piece of your story. And in fact, that demonstrates a wonderful vulnerability to me. It's like the dog who shows his belly, literally. It's inviting. You want to rub it. So, and we love you already. And I think this, it does establish your credibility. It had me very clear about why I needed to listen to this. Because either I know somebody with IBS I'm headed for it if I'm not careful. And in your case, it went beyond. So how many people do we know who dealt with cancer? I can count at least 10 people that I know with cancer. Most people can count at least that number of people. So it's important. I think that really sets the stage for why we've got to listen. Your acronym at the bottom, it's not meant to be an acronym, but your symbols down at the bottom, I think could be turned into SMART instead. I think you've got spirit. I can't remember what M stood for.
Mental.
Yeah, and then you had physical. I think you could turn that into action. And instead of the other stuff, S was something to do with people, right?
Social.
Social. I would call that relationships. And then T could be treasure, which means the same thing as money. So it's just easy to remember. And it could be the fodder for a whole nother talk, the smart talk, or like smart way to be, that
Yes.
kind of stuff.
Great.
And in the root word of invigorate is vigor. Vigor means strength
You
in
catch me
Latin.
on that,
So,
yes.
yeah. So well done. I really enjoyed your talk.
Great.
I think you look great. And I've seen you here a number of different times, and other times I think you might have been thinner and not feeling as
Yeah.
good. And today you look refreshed,
Yeah.
and I love your jacket. I always love a man in a jacket. It's
Yeah.
kind of authoritative. You look kind of polished and professional.
Yes.
So I think that's a really great impression that you're making with how you're put together. I was thinking about because the topic of stress and what to do about it is a common one. So how do you distinguish yourself, and how do you draw people in, some of the ideas about stories and so on. And I think that an idea that I had to try out is it kind of like you might say, do you just feel tired? Do you just feel like you wake up in the morning and you're already tired? And so you might talk about some different symptoms and then tie it together and say, the culprit in your life may be stress because it sneaks up on us. We think we're managing and we love what we're doing, but all the while we're kind of burning the candle and our reserves are getting lower. So there might be something like the culprit of stress that you didn't know was the culprit, rather than just, we all have stress. The other thing that I wanted to say is what I was doing with my voice now, saying going low and going a little bigger. I think you have more range, and I think you could be, I think that melody always carries us along, and when you have a topic that is widely spoken about, that delivery will be that much more important to sort of suck us in and connect us to you. You have an awesome smile, and when you smile, it changes your whole face, so I'd love to see more of that too.
Great.
Okay.
Just in terms of sick and tired, I thought of this statement, like people are sometimes sick and tired of hearing about stress. And I said, that's why you're sick and tired.
That's awesome.
Yep, there you go.
Celebrate that.
Exactly.
Anybody
else?
Thank you.
I have one small thing. Most everything I wrote down has been said, so that's cool that we're on the same wavelength here. Well, maybe two things. I know about HeartMath, and obviously you and I have talked about using M-Wave, so there may be an opportunity to just not give them the full gamut of that, but hey, we're going to talk about the use of technology and how you can do this on your own, and however you want to say that, because I think there's so much that gives it even more credibility of there's tech behind this, it's accessible, it's easy for you to do on your own, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing I thought too was that I think you're doing people a service by offering this online, right? Like that's a fantastic idea, and it totally plays into the concept of how stressed we are, because y'all, traffic today stressed me the heck out. So, and maybe I missed this, maybe you already said it, but emphasizing that at the end and recognizing, I understand you, I understand how much you have on your plate. That's the reason this is online, to make it accessible, to make it convenient. And so instead of going into your dates and all of that, just front loading with, we're starting this, it's gonna be a journey together, and it's online, come join me.
Cool, great, Abby, thank you.
I love what Abby said about the heart math, because I didn't know what that
I
is.
know, I left that out. I remember Ken Buck, the talk you plan to give, the talk you actually give. Like literally and figuratively, it's using technology to actually see if your heart's in rhythm. It's where science and spirit actually meet using heart math.
I like
Oh,
the
that's
way
a-
you
that's
said it,
really-
Abby,
yeah.
though, because it's very inviting. It has me want to sign up for the class
Yeah.
just to get what you said. What did you said the technology and how you can use it at home, or
Yep,
something like that?
Yep,
Yeah.
because it's accessible, I mean, whether you get I'm totally blanking.
Sensor.
The sensor, thank you, I was like, what is that called again? So you can get the sensor at home and it's really not that
No, it's
expensive,
not.
so, or you could get the desktop version.
Sounds like a product add-on.
Actually, I was going to bundle the class. The class would be $197, but if folks want to get their blood test and a sensor, it would be $497.
Yep.
My cost would be $503, so they would get the course plus the blood test and the sensor for less than what my fee would be for them
Wow.
Yeah, that's
with the
fantastic.
course. So I bundled
awesome.
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Okay, hang on.